Are you a parent who hates routines? Do they bore you and make you feel like life is dull and tedious? What if you could work on just a few really critical routines so your child is successful in school and your family actually has more time for fun? I call it the student success system, and it includes easy routines spread throughout the school day and the week. I will show you how to create these routines that you can maintain, and if done right, will make more room in your family's life for what you really want to do. Routines are a system that don't rely on memory for your child to prepare for something. So you don't need to be the human reminder system. But wait, shouldn't I be teaching my kids how to remember things themselves? Well, yes and no. In the long run, that is what you will be doing by teaching them how to create routines. This is always going to help someone who's forgetful or scattered, because they're not going to have to rely on their memory for as many different things. But you can help your child in the beginning by teaching them how to create an environment where they don't have to rely on something that's unreliable, memory. I'm going to show you how to create simple daily routines and keep them going until they are automatic. That is what I want you to appreciate about routines. Once something is a routine or a habit, you don't have to think about it anymore. Later, we will talk about the independence ladder, which gives you the map for how we're going to get them there. Routines build independence, especially for forgetful, scattered kids. And you can create a routine for every important part of the day that will help your child get prepared and organized for school. I have created the daily 5, 6 before breakfast, the after school or evening reset, the evening power down, and the Sunday reboot. You just need to take creating these one routine at a time. Since many of us hate routines, it's important to talk about why they work. Kids don't forget on purpose. Their brains are juggling a lot. Friends, classes, rules, new skills, and their working memory runs out fast. Working memory is our memory for things we just need to remember long enough to do, like getting off at the next exit on the highway, or for a child going to go pick up your shoes. It's even shorter than short-term memory. So instead of relying on memory, which makes a lot of mistakes, we're going to put the cues and prompts for routines on the outside. That means we put the remembering into the environment. There are 3 S's in the student success system: spots, steps, and signals. Spots are where things live. Steps are the order in which we do things. Signals are the timers and checklists that tell you when to start. Once you have those 3, the nagging you're doing now is no longer needed. Let's start with something you can use today, the daily 5. This is 5 steps that keep papers, plans, and preparing for school under control. 1. Empty backpack. That includes their lunchbox, trash, their water bottle, important folders. Number 2, check the planner for today and tomorrow. Number 3, sort the papers. You're going to need a keep home folder and a bring back to school folder. I had one spot for papers I needed to see quickly, and a little box I created for myself, and papers that were just staying home. This was a wide plastic drawer in the front coat closet on the floor with 3 drawers, one for each of my kids. It held artwork and everything else school related that they didn't need in their backpack anymore. We just put it in their drawer and then we went through it each summer. Number 4, pack for tomorrow. Number 5, reset your launch pad by the door. Same steps, same order every day. After school or in the evening before bed, you can choose, depending on whether you're home after school or whether you need to do this after work, but try to keep it consistent. If you only do the daily 5, you'll feel a big difference this week. But if you start to do all these routines, including the weekly reboot, you will transform how easy it is to get your child organized and ready for school. The weekly reboot is coming up later, but first we need to set things up at home. Now let's set things up so your environment does the heavy lifting. Pick one spot by the door where the backpack, shoes, water bottle, and any other items your child needs for school lives. I made a launch pad right inside the door of the garage because that is where we went through to get into the car. You can decide where it makes the most sense in your house. When everything has a home, you stop losing time hunting for things. We need to create a system for all those loose papers. Your school may have already done this, and if this is working, go ahead and use it. But if they haven't, you should make one. Use 2 plain folders, any colors you want. It works best if the color you use for each makes sense. Maybe your bring to school folder is yellow because, at least in America, we have yellow school buses and that takes them to school. Label the other folder bring home. Get your child involved and ask them what color their bring home folder should be. Label the yellow folder bring to school and then label the school to home colored folder too. The label here is a must-do. Labels are so important. Do them before you get too tired. Finally, make a homework station. Your kitchen table with a chair is fine if that works for you. You can add a small supply bin or a caddy. Put pencils and erasers, sharpeners, scissors, glue, highlighters, sticky notes, everything they need. And don't forget a way for them to keep track of time. Use a visual timer with an alarm that you can hear and that has one that's not overwhelming or scary for kids or moms with sensory issues. You also will want to think about whether your child would do better with using headphones to block out noise. Headphones may help them focus. There is research that suggests both music and being allowed to doodle while listening actually helps us focus. Now, what about our routines? Let's tackle mornings. Mornings work best when decisions mostly happen the night before and the morning steps are short. I use something I called 6 before breakfast. Step 1, get dressed. Step 2, put your pajamas away. Step 3, brush your teeth. Step 4, brush your hair. Step 5, put on your shoes. Step 6, eat breakfast. And for us, that was it. Only put the things important to you on the list. And put what your child wants. Mine always wanted to eat breakfast last. That way they're getting what they want after they do what they need to. Then after breakfast you might need a quick bag check and then out the door. For younger kids, you might make a photo or visual schedule with either pictures or drawings of your child doing each step. Then take 5 minutes just to plan homework. Not actually do it, but just plan it. Why? Because this will help prevent a homework meltdown because your child is overwhelmed later. What they have to do won't be a surprise when they sit down to start, and if it's difficult, you can break it down into easier chunks before they even begin. Look with your child at their assignments, think about how long they'll take, and help them decide where to start. Think about if your child needs to work on easier subjects first, or if they do better getting something off of their list quickly. Most kids do better starting with things that are easier. The goal is to make their first step clear so they don't get paralyzed by their feelings and not being able to make a decision when they sit down to do their homework. For homework, we don't need marathon focus. We just need to start without a meltdown, and we need to have a plan for breaks and getting back to work, like your child setting their own visual timer or telling Alexa when to tell them to get back to work. For many kids, getting homework with something easier, something your child can finish quickly, will help them get started. Then switch to short work blocks, maybe 10 to 15 minutes on, 3 to 5 minutes off, or whatever works best for your child. If their work is really intimidating or takes a lot of mental effort, you might want to try a really short amount of time to start, like 5 minutes all the way down to 2. But offer choices whenever you can to increase your child's buy-in. Do you want me nearby, or should I check back in 10 minutes? When their homework is done, you can use one of my favorite lines, show and stow. Show your finished work and then stow it in your backpack in your back to school folder. Be sure and reward your child for remembering to put their homework all the way away. Many a child has done their homework only to forget it at home, or get it all the way to school and still forget to turn it in. Now, the evening power down. 10 calm minutes at night saves 20 in the morning. First, pack the backpack with the back to school and home folders inside. Next, get lunches and water bottles ready for the next day. Sign any papers and place them in the right folder. Check the weather and lay out tomorrow's clothes. And don't forget to check for tomorrow's special or anything that your child might have after school as an activity, that they might need things. They might need a musical instrument they're learning to play, or they might have PE or need books that they need to return to the library. You also want to think about the weather and whether you need a jacket or umbrella right at the launch pad so that they don't forget it. Doing an evening power down turns chaos into calm, because these decisions happen when everyone is feeling better and everyone's nervous systems are quieter and more calm. But if you really want things to feel different, use Sunday night to prepare for the next week. Once a week, do a reset. Have your child empty their backpack, shake out the crumbs, and put anything out of place where it belongs. This really helps them learn how and where things should be, because at several different points we have had them checking to make sure things are done and things are put in the right place. First, check to make sure the to school and home folders are there, and restock the homework caddy. Look at your family calendar for that week so you see and remember any special projects, field trips, tests, or any other activities that you need to think about how you need to prepare for. Then make a quick list and write each of these down, make a plan, and add anything extra that you need to the launch pad. But what if your child is still uninterested? We need to work on their motivation. We're not chasing perfection. We're building habits and confidence, because your child will begin to trust that they are prepared. You can use stickers, tokens, or points for following through and let your child trade them in for small privileges or choices of things to do or win. Keep your language simple and predictable throughout this process with things like the when then. When your backpack is packed, then it'll be screen time. And praise the process. You started without a reminder. That's great. But you may also be thinking, how will my child learn how to do this on their own? Over time, you're going to slowly fade your support on purpose. Just start from wherever your child is now, no matter what their age is. First, you may need to do these things together. Second, your child can take the lead with you being nearby for support and just kind of watching and cheering them on. Third, you can switch to using visual prompts, checklists, timers, and no nagging. Fourth, your child uses the prompts and routines independently and you check, you verify. Fifth, your child teaches maybe a sibling or records a video for another parent or their grandparent or anyone who will praise them for what they're trying to do and their new independence. Each of these steps taken should be a small celebration. If you hit bumps, there are some quick fixes. If your child is time blind, always use an external timer, preferably with a visual and an auditory component. Some of us tend to notice things visual, and others of us notice things that we hear better. If your child is resistant, shrink the first step and offer support. Are they overwhelmed? Do you need better rewards? If your papers are getting lost, problem solve and try again. Involve your child in this and treat what they say as important. If you tend to see after-school meltdowns, ask yourself, are they getting enough time to relax? Are they getting enough sleep? Or do they need time to talk to you about things that happened during their day before you ask them to do something like do homework? You want to have structure with flexibility here. If one day is really busy, do what I call a minimum possible routine. Maybe that's just pack the bag and set out clothes, or even just pack the bag. Sometimes that's enough. My dad always used to say, sometimes it's all about just showing up. You can also ask the teacher for support. Maybe they can document for you how your child is doing with packing up to come home from school. Or they could put a quick initial in the planner if your child wrote down their homework without having to be asked. If your child regularly forgets to bring books home that they need for homework, try asking permission for getting a classroom copy, or see if you could buy an extra set somewhere whenever possible. Now you may be wondering, why do this instead of insisting that your child starts to remember it? Why provide this crutch? Well, we know small accommodations can create big wins. We know this from working with kids with special needs for the last few decades. You want to empower your child and help them learn they can support themselves and that they can meet others' expectations. Otherwise, why not give up, right? This is what will happen if your child gets too discouraged. What are some other ways you can encourage your child? What we track grows. Watch what your child tends to have trouble with and begin to track it to establish what we call a baseline. But be sure to not always focus on their weaknesses. But here's an example. You could score 3 simple things from 3 to 1. 3 means they do it totally on their own. 2 means that they can do it, but they still need some help. And 1 means that they're still needing to focus on improving and being willing or able to do this step. Or if your child is resistant, 3 could be they did it without any pushback. 2 is maybe they had a slow start, but then they improved. This is what we mean when we say meet your child where they're at. You want to monitor and reward progress. You want to keep encouraging them. Ask yourself, were we on time this morning? Did homework start without tension or yelling? Did we complete the daily 5? When you review your week on Sunday, pick 1 thing to focus on for the week ahead. I know you'll be tempted, but don't pick too many or you're going to overwhelm yourself and maybe your child too. Are you wondering what to say to your child? Here are some lines you can borrow to use. Should I set the timer for 10 or 15? Show me where it lives. When the backpack is packed, then it's screen time. Do you want me to be nearby or should I check back in 10? Do you want a reminder or what could you do to remind yourself? By asking them for their opinion, you're treating their ideas as important and letting them know that you believe in them and value what they have to say. You've got this. And to make it even easier, I made you a free visual schedule for the mornings, for after school, and for evenings. The link is below. You can also build your own custom schedule like I did for you for free in Canva. Or you can download the one I made and change it in Canva to fit your needs.